to see sort of playing again. 100%, as you mentioned at the start of the series, but sort of he took a long break, did essentially retire from the game, but did come back relatively recently and has been playing a lot more and even does compete from time to time. It's still rare to see sort of in tournaments, and I hope to see more of him. I want to see more sort of in the Wardy TV Mondays, Sparkling Tuna Cups, KSLs as well. Would hope to see more of him. It's nice to have a little bit of diversity because moving forward, purely Terran and Protoss. No more Zerg. he was our Zerg representative. But here we go, spawning in the top right-hand corner of the Old Republic. We have the South Korean Terran player. We have the blue Terran representing Team Liquid. It is a Cure. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the red Protoss player representing T1. It is herO. Here we go. We have our TVP, we have our best of 3, we have our semi-finals, and we'll see how this series does turn out. Again, Cure, he has some of the best TVP in the world. I think I would go as far as saying that Cure has the second best TVP in the world, second only to Clem. So it goes Clem, then Cure, then I would say Maru. In that order when it comes to Terran versus Protoss. One of the reasons why Cure's TVP is so good, I mean, it was always good even before he joined Team Liquid, but even after that, like Clem and Cure, they often do kind of discuss, they often do like converse about the matchup, they practice together, they play together, and they kind of improve said matchup together as well. Which is really cool. And we'll see how they compare. Now we have our initial openers. Economic start out of Cure, true, going for a Rax expand, so economic opener in towards the mid game, and of course welcome to the Old Republic. The Old Republic is one of the larger maps in the map pool. I will say though, it does have a very difficult to take 4th base, and that's going to be a massive factor in this matchup. The 4th base is difficult to maintain. Because of that, typically we do favor Protoss here in a longer game, where Protoss, it's a lot easier for them to gain map control, mass expand, and contain the Terran on a low base count. So I would say the early to mid game is going to be in favor of the Terran when it comes to early aggressive builds, but as the game progresses, then it does fall in favor of the Protoss, unless the Terran player can get their 4th. If the Terran player can establish a 4th base and max out, then that is when they can gain momentum instead. So it's TVP is, it does kind of have its like errors or kind of phases. It has that kind of back and forth. Before I get ahead of myself though, do you see what I see? I see a second Rax. Okay, now we spoke about it. In this matchup, Terran players, they do have early timing attacks available to them. That is where they are favored. It is going to be Rax, into Factory, into second Rax, and our eyes are open for another Rax or a Starport. There it is, Starport's on the way, 2-on-1. So 2-on-1, essentially late Starport. The Starport has been delayed here. We could have gotten this Starport earlier, but no, delayed Starport, faster second Rax, with this a heavier bio army. This typically leads into an earlier stim timing, but there is a build that Clem and Cure and a lot of Terran players have been mixing in, where they actually get a tech lab, they go into tank production, they make Vikings, they just rally across, and they go for basically a 2-base all-in. Regardless, this is an aggressive build here by Cure, and we'll see what he can get done with it. We see the tech lab as well, so there was no tech lab on the Factory. It's going to be a Widowmine drop, instead a tech lab on the Rax into early stim. So early stim timing here by Cure. As we're waiting for the medevac. Meanwhile, herO, he's just chilling. He's building up. There's that stim that we did mention. And herO is claiming his 3rd off of how many... So 2 gate blink, technically 1 gate blink expand, but he does have his second gateway just now finishing up, but a very greedy build here by herO. herO, he hasn't even scouted, by the way. I was curious as to what information he had to work with, but the only information he had was the Reaper. He's only just now scouting, so this is insane greed out of herO, and I would say he's reading this well. Remember, Cure has to wait for his upgrades to move out, so the 3rd base is going to get up and running. Just because Cure's timing is going to be later with stim. Now here he scouts everything. He does see that stim is on the way. He does confirm that there's no tank production, does confirm that factory production or the tech lab on the factory was delayed. So herO is aware, and herO going straight into charge. So charge has begun. herO for now is just saturating. Wouldn't mind drop into the main. herO does shut it down. Oof, one Wouldn't mind does 4 in the medevac. The other two, oh, do get shots off. 2 probes falling, okay. Gets 2 probes and baits out the other mine. So very clean defense here by herO. Oh, Reaper gets into the natural, kills 1 probe. So that's going to be 3 probe kills for a Reaper, 3 Widow Mines, and a medevac. Better trade for the Protoss. Better trade for the Protoss. Interesting. Now, I had assumed that KuRo was going to build up into a big stim timing, and he instead is going for a stim drop. Stim is now done. He has some medevacs across the map. KuRo is still building up his army, but it looks like he does look to harass here with said drop, and we'll see what he can get done. He can maybe get some probe kills here at the 3rd if herO has a late reaction. Or even just drop into the main. We'll see. As KuRo stems in, herO's in position. herO's in position. KuRo, he wants to go for the mineral line, wants to go for the probe kills. And how many does he get? He gets 1, he gets 2, he gets 3. 3, 4, 5, up 6. 6 probe kills. Can he get 7? Barely can. 7 probes go down. Very nice damage, very nice drop. So in the end, I was a little bit concerned just because herO was in position, but you can see that that drop was intentionally purely designed to kill probes. So 7 probes go down. If herO didn't react the way that he did, he would have lost the entire mineral line. So a nice drop here by KuRo. But again, we have confirmation that KuRo is getting a 3rd CC. KuRo is expanding, is getting into the mid game. Now, the scary thing about what just happened here is that KuRo, as herO gets into the main, it blinks into the main base. There's nothing in position. Yeah, KuRo's out of position now, racing back up from the natural. He will lose a tech lab, lose a reactor. I was waiting for him. Nice catch. Yeah, very nice punish here by KuRo. Ooh, we'll still lose a medevac. We'll lose 2 medevacs. Oh, good. So a bit of a back and forth towards the end. A little bit of a messy defense here by KuRo. As herO got the tech lab, the reactor, 2 medevacs, pulls away. herO lost 3 stalkers. That was worthwhile for herO. Now, very quickly, what I was getting at was that KuRo, yes, he killed 7 probes. That is nice. The problem, though, is remember, herO went 2-gate blink. Like, herO, he went for a very greedy build. Sorry. He went 2-gate blink into a fast 3rd. So herO went for a very greedy build, so he had a very high probe count to begin with. So yes, damage was done, but that damage doesn't give KuRo a lead. It really does equalize more than anything. Now, what I will say is that herO's 4th base is late. Late 4th base. My assumption here is that herO assumed that KuRo was going to be more aggressive than he is. That KuRo was going to actually push out. So herO, he was staying on 3 bases instead, but now that he realizes that, okay, KuRo is building up into a longer game, now he can get a 4th base. And you can see KuRo's turtling. He's going into a 2nd starport, getting into a fusion core as well, securing his 3rd base, going into liberators, and he's building up into... his goal here is to just turtle up into a 3-base setup, into a large army. Yep, 4 CC is on the way. Now, because he's turtling, we can see that herO isn't just expanding, he can even double expand, and he's even going into Sky Toss. This is a bold move. So we have a Stargate on the way, we have +1 air attack on the way as well. No shot herO plans on going into a fleet beacon. I mean, he could. If he's reading KuRo well, and based on what we can see, wait, did herO see the 4th? No, he didn't see the 4th base. So herO, he didn't see the fusion core, he didn't see the 2nd starport. So herO, he's playing a little bit blind here. It's really risky for herO to invest like this in towards the late game. Yep, 2nd Stargate, 3rd Stargate, fleet beacon. He's getting ready for Tempest and carriers. He's going for a full Skytoss transition. If KuRo was pushing and going for a 3-base all in, then herO would be in trouble. But KuRo's turtling up. herO is reading him very well. And herO pokes in, and remember, herO has no intention of killing. This is all just a distraction. Takes down 1, 2, 3 depots. herO pulls away, drop into the main. And remember, herO doesn't plan, and now herO scouts. He sees the Ghost Academy, the Fusion Core, the Armory, the 2nd starport. herO sees everything. He should be feeling confident here. Pushing into the 3rd base, KuRo is being torn apart, SCVs are going down in the main, and this is getting out of hand. And remember, herO, so much money is being spent on further attack. Like, this is not meant to kill, and he is. Like, this is not meant to kill And he's doing critical damage. The Liberator goes down, denied mining at the 3rd base. We have a 1 base economy here for Cure. Oof. And he's losing everything here. 17 dead SCVs, 18 dead SCVs. Zealots, they finally get cleaned up in the main. 21 SCVs go down. And herO, in the midst of all this transitioning into SkyToss, carrier production has now begun. Oh boy. Prism can pull away. Cure is contained. Unfortunately, Cure, he has no pushing power. He just lost a lot of momentum. He has no pushing power. He's still stuck at home. And he cannot punish herO. Doesn't have the capacity to. herO breaks in. And he peels off some Zealots. Catching more SCVs. Oof, as Liberators they reposition, herO does take advantage of that. Zealot run by at the same time, and Cure just doesn't have the supply. He just doesn't have the supply to defend all locations at once. That's another 8 dead SCVs. And the carriers are slowly amassing. They're slowly amassing. Now, are Tempest more efficient? Yes, that is true, but given the lead that herO has, and given the lack of Vikings, right, there's no Vikings, there's limited anti-air here, herO, he can get away with going for an earlier carrier timing. Technically, again, this doesn't scale as well into a longer game, but the game isn't going to last that long, to be honest. Like, this, this is kind of the death march here for herO as he's rallying more carriers across the map, but Cure still has no idea. Right? Remember, he didn't scout, he hasn't seen the main army yet, he doesn't know. I would say that herO is maybe being a little bit premature with these carriers. He could wait for 6, but it's fine. Nah, yeah, it's fine. Again, there's limited anti-air here. We have like, what, 4 Marines? Yeah, Marines are going down. Yep, 0 Marines left. It's only Marauder. It's pure Marauder. GG gets called, nothing shoots up, and herO, he'll take a lead in the series 1-0. GG. Whew. GG, well played. herO does take a lead. Again, a very strong showing there by herO, but a big reason for that was the openers. Winding it back, remember, herO, he went for a very greedy build, rushing into a fast third Nexus, as his second gateway wasn't even done, so really fast third base, really fast economy out of herO. Cure, he was able to do some economic damage. If you remember, the initial Woodmine drop did kind of fumble, and herO had a stronger defense. The follow-up Marine drop did have some success, but again, that didn't really get the damage he was hoping for, just because of how greedy herO was, right? So herO, he could afford to lose some workers because of how many workers he had available to him at the time, more so than normal. And Cure, he opted not to go for an early timing attack. He tried to build up into a longer game, and Cure got outscaled. He got outscaled, he got outpositioned. GG, well played. And with that, we're going to be loading into game 2, going to be loading into Winter Madness. Let's go. Let us go. Spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Winter Madness, we have the Terran, the South Korean Terran player, the blue Terran, representing Team Liquid. It is Cure. And spawning in the top left hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the red Protoss player, the red Protoss himself representing T1. It is herO. Here we go. Pays to be greedy. Yeah. Again, like herO, he just read Cure incredibly well. Like he had, remember, herO, he was working with very, very limited scouting information, almost non-existent scouting information in that last game. But he was just assuming that Cure would go for something more economic, that he'd be more defensive. And here he assumed correctly. Now welcome to Winter Madness. Winter Madness is another one of these larger maps, is even more defensive than the previous one, so getting your third, your fourth base is a lot easier here on this map than on others. So again, herO should be going for a similar style. Meanwhile, we'll see if Cure decides to be more aggressive or even more greedy. You know, we could see 3 CC 3 racks here, for example. We could see Cure try to meet, if not exceed, the greed of the Protoss. Single gas opener, so Cure is going for a CC. Standard economic start. Kiryu will go Marine first. As herO is being as annoying as possible. Attempting, and he does delay. Yeah, it does delay the CC. Oof. As Kiryu just wants to expand. There we go. So delayed by a couple of seconds. And it's going to be Marine first into Reactor. So again, a lot of greed here by Cure. Cure, he is not going for an SCV scout, and he will skip his Reaper, only checking with the Marine nearby for a proxy. So you can see he's checking for the proxy gateway. Cure is cutting corners. And we'll see if a herO goes for a higher gateway count instead. We're expecting a Twilight Council into Blink, but 2 Gate Blink, 3 Gate Blink, or 4 Gate Blink Stalker. Waiting to see the gateways. Oh, as this time Cure is going for a 1-1-1. Remember, last game, Cure, he delayed his starport, going for a faster second racks into faster stim, into that kind of weird stim timing. But this time he's going for a straight 1-1-1 instead. With this, he can go for an earlier medevac drop. Go for an earlier move out. Hero pokes in, and he's trading well. The Marines are being softened up. It's one. One Marine goes down. Adept will delay mining. Getting another 2 Marines. 3 Marines go down in total. Second Stalker has arrived. More Marines are being bullied. Oof. Getting up to 4 in total. And do you see how many gateways? Oh, 4 gates. Yeah, 1 in the main base, 3 at the natural, 4 Gate Blink out of herO. So unlike the last game where we saw Hyper Greed out of herO, this time we have Hyper Aggression out of the Protoss. And you can see here is just bullying these Marines. Medevac is on the way, Cyclone as well, that will help. But here he's softening up the army and getting ready for the follow-up. And again, still no bunker. Like Cure, he was being so greedy, cutting corners, he's being punished for it. The Cyclone finally locks down one of these Stalkers. Kills one. Cure can push. And attempt to move out. But again, here should be warping in more Stalkers. And Cure has to be very careful here. If he overextends, he will lose everything. Proxy gateway. How many gates? I assumed it was going to be 4 gate, but no, it's going to be 5. 5 gates set up here by herO. Hyper aggression. You can see herO getting ready for the drop. We can see the drop moving in said direction. Uh-oh. Who reacts first? Yeah, who does react? Medevac gets spotted. herO, he wakes. Oh my god, he gets 1 volley. He gets 1, he gets both volleys off. The medevac goes down. It was a full medevac as well. Back at home, no bunker. No bunker has been thrown down. There's 1 tank to defend. Soon to be 2. But again, there's barely any support for the tank. And hero's going for the all-in. Remember, he's got that proxy gateway. Oh. He's going to be zoned away. 1 Stalker gets picked off. Nice, that pick off here. Here he rotates to the right hand side. Here he does expand behind this, but again, here he still has a massive Stalker army to work with. He's going for that Ivy. He goes for that Ivy, blinks in, he gets 1. Ooh, we'll take an extra shot up, but there we go. Both tanks go down. Messy engage from herO, and Cure holds. Whew, Cure does hold on. If Cure didn't have both tanks here, that would have been a much more difficult fight for Cure. But hero's not stopping. Yeah, he's not stopping. He's still warping in. Jesus. Warping in 5 Stalkers at a time. Remember, there was never a bunker. But there is 1 tank. Observer allows for high ground vision, and herO is going into the main. And tank's out of range. Yeah, the tank is out of range. Add-ons are going down. Cure is being pulled apart. Does snipe the Observer. herO, he wants the tank. Gets the Vikings. Gets 1, gets 2. Both Vikings go down. Remember, there's no stim. And we just rotate. Yeah, we just rotate over towards the low ground. The bunker will fall. There's no repairs. And Kira just cannot keep up. He scans, he sees this, also a third base alongside this, so even worse. Like, I would say this third base was unnecessary for herO, but hero's even getting double 4, just getting further ahead. Whereas herO could otherwise just end the game. And he may still just. Yeah, blinks in. Takes out the tank, the Viking. Bleeds out a couple of stalkers, one more tank getting in position. And here he can just pull behind the mineral line. Oof. Remember, stim just now began. The tank is repositioning. But here he goes for it. Yeah, he just goes for the dive, takes down the tank, and now there's nothing left. Nothing left to remain, nothing left to defend. GG gets called, and herO will take the 2-0. He will take the series and advance on to the grand finals. GG. Whew. GG, well played, congratulations. herO will claim the series again, this time a hyper-aggressive build out of herO, punishing Cure. Cure, unfortunately, he was cutting a lot of corners early on. Remember, Cure, no SCV scout, no Reaper scouts, and no bunker either. He could have gotten one earlier, but he chose to skip the bunker. He was going purely Marine Cyclone or Marine Cyclone Medevac. Because of that, Cure, he was choosing to cut some corners, and he was punished for it. herO going 4-gate blink initially, picking off so many Marines, and eventually the Cyclone, the Medevac, denying the drop as well, and Cure just lost so much momentum. Remember that Cure, his tank production was delayed, and his stim was also delayed as well in favor of the early drop play, in favor of the early move outs, and it got shut down, right? The Medevac didn't even get across the map, got sniped halfway. Did get sniped. Where otherwise, if there's a world where the Medevac does successfully get across the map, it's not even about doing damage, but it would keep stalkers busy, right? Like herO, he would be stuck at home defending against the drop. Meanwhile, Cure can then build up his tanks, get his bunkers, and have a stronger defensive setup. Because that Medevac went down, there was nothing stopping herO from counterattacking, and from pushing, and from breaking Cure. GG. GG, well played. Whew. With that, very impressive showing there by herO, as that leads us into our next series, going into our next semifinals. Let's go. Let us go. We are going to be cutting to a short break as we have 2 series left. It's going to be a best of 3 semifinals between Classic and Percival, and that leads us into the grand finals, which will be herO against the winner of this series. We'll see you soon. See you soon. Just catching up in the chat. Pays to not be greedy. I mean, again, it all comes down to what you do and what your opponent's up to as well, right? Like, the hyper aggressive style this time of herO did amazingly against the more attempted harassing opener out of Cure. So again, there's opportunities, and there are places for different styles of being greedy, of being aggressive, of course. But for now though, we'll see you guys in a couple of minutes here, in a couple of moments for the next semis. Take this time to get some snacks, get some food, get some water, drain disruptors, massage your Marines, and hydrate all of your hydras. We'll be back soon with Classic versus Percival. See you soon.